Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Thursday, September 14th, and it is starting at 8:02 p.m. in the evening for me. Insomnia's gone insane. What can I say? Like, it's just getting later and later, and that's not good. Now, you may notice that I have a challenger friend and I have a Murgle and I don't have anything else. So it's because in my failed efforts to try to get up in ranked play, I finished something. So all you need to do today is challenger friend and win 3 games of any class, and then there is the European and Asian account. We also have a tavern brawl to do, so that's something to try too. Hopefully I can challenge somebody. We've got at least a couple of people here online right now, so if we could maybe get Tragic Master to be available, maybe we could get him to challenge a friend immediately. I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we're almost done with the European and Asian accounts being anything that I probably will even do consistently. Let's see. He was in the main menu and it still didn't work. So let's just go to the Tavern Brawl. I have now done one night in Karazhan in both the Asian account and the European accounts, so there's no more solo adventures that I can do on those new accounts, since you can't do this Frozen Throne until you have a considerable amount of weapons to beat, I believe, this character, because he only takes damage. Maybe it's this character. Either way, you can't get to the end, and if you can't get to the end, you can't at the very least beat the Lich King once. I also have finished that extra work, and I have beaten the Lich King with all of the characters. Finally. It was awful. It's a terrible solo adventure. I would have much preferred to be given the hero replacement Lich King card, Knights of the Frozen Throne card, for each of those characters once they beat the Lich King, instead of just getting a face replacement, which I don't even care about. There also is a outside of Hearthstone choose your side card backs you can get right now if you go to the website. Let's see if I can even find it. Let's see. The Call of the Light, I might have been it. Acquired from a special promotion. And the Call of the Void. So we can play either one of those. Let's just make this favorite for now. And now Arthas,
justice has come. We
can make him our favorite instead of Uther. Say right now we have like our favorite rogue and our favorite shaman too, so they're just slowly replacing all of the characters, and I think
my plans are falling into place.
Some of these can be purchased, and some of these you have to do something else with, and I really don't care about any of it enough. Alright, Lich King spends so much time cooking in between destroying adventures. Pick a class and try out some of his recipes. And I don't even have anybody to, like, play as. So we'll just play as Prince Arthas and show that off. So, streams hopefully are going to get shorter. From my perspective, I'm not sure anybody else cares about that or wants that to be the case, but from my perspective, that's absolutely what I want to have happen, because this thing is really just destroying my channel. We had one person comment on 2 of my other videos asking if I was going to stream today and asking if I beat a game, and I guess that's inherently a good thing. That says that the live streaming is, at least in a very small way, bringing in viewers to the pre-recorded content, which really has to succeed. Like, if that strategy fails, and I am just always going to only get views, I don't even know what we're doing here. It seems like this Tavern Brawl is just, they're gonna give you an account. Guess we could show off this again.
Hail and well met. Well met.
This seems to be very focused around the idea of playing Divine Shield minions.
You have my gratitude. Out of my jungle.
So we can try to rush through the news here too. I've changed how I've done news at this point completely. I'm not really reading any of it or pre-preparing it. That extra work, while probably very useful, I just don't have the time for it. There's yet another time slot in the Halloween Halloween schedule of October that I thought was already recorded and done, and it's not. So I'm still further away than I should be, as far as just ensuring that I have things pre-recorded. And I don't want to do it, but it's getting closer and closer to the point where I feel like I'm going to have to cancel even a second time slot too. So let's go with news. Bethesda is going to, we already knew, release Skyrim for Switch, and they're also releasing Doom and Wolfenstein 2, which is kind of weird that they're not mentioning Wolfenstein 1 or Wolfenstein the Old Blood.
Let me think.
They're only kind of pushing Skyrim, which all of these games are on the same engine, so it doesn't really make that much sense. Or maybe they're not. Maybe Wolfenstein wasn't on something that could be ported. And Doom is interesting because it's been 15 years since Doom was on a Nintendo console, so that is a long return. Let's see. Here's Hearthstone talking about the balance changes, that the nerfs for Innervate, Fiery War Axe, Hex, Murloc War Leader, and Spreading Plague are scheduled for September 18th, which means now what that really does is it's kind of destroying my last chance and my beginning attempt of ever getting up and ranked. Like, maybe these nerfs will help me and I'll keep trying, but I'm really trying as much as I'm willing to try. I want to be clear and say I am not playing Hearthstone every day. I'm not putting an hour into it every day, but there have been occasions, particularly in the past week, where I've I've had a lot of videos that I needed to upload, so I couldn't be recording. So I was playing Hearthstone on ranked, trying to get up in the ranks, and I'm just teetering at rank 18. My best deck that I can find is ranking at less than 50% or around 50% win ratio. I am not finding anything that succeeds anything better than that. And that seems crazy.
Evil will be purged.
Let's see.
Evil will be purged.
And so I'm finding it incredibly frustrating to continue to try to play ranked here. And if I was just a regular player, I would have given up long ago. Like, I don't stick around for games that frustrate me or that don't allow me to win. I don't play difficult games. And the way they've got this whole built up on ranked, I can't get anywhere. And I don't want to sit here and just complain about that, but I've tried literally, like I've been saying before, even though I've been playing for 2 years, 3 years probably of Hearthstone, I've just been trying to do daily quests. And this was the first month and a half now where I've actually tried to get up in ranked. And I'm ready already to quit and just say, forget it. I'm never going to get anywhere in ranked. The experience when you try is what I believe is exactly the same experience I had when I tried probably at the very beginning of playing Hearthstone.
I fight.
For Lorthamar.
So moving on, Nintendo arcade games are coming to the Switch as arcade archives. So let's see, arcade archives versus each one of them is actually its own separate thing too. It's a series. So it's going to be Arcade Archives Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, which was not, in case you don't know what that game is, it is a two-player single screen game pretty much.
For the makers.
Oh.
For Lorthamar.
I think I'm gonna lose here. And then the next few that are gonna come out are Arcade Archives versus Balloon Fight. So Balloon Fight, I thought it was Balloon Fighter, but whatever. Ice Climber, and Pinball, and Choo Choo Land. So instead of having a virtual console, they're going to try to individually sell you these games, and they're probably going to try to individually sell you these games as cartridges just to have more inventory in the stores. This is an awful way to sell these things. Even if they are only like $2 each, which I imagine would be the bare minimum that you could do is to have a $2 game for sale in a store. But even at that rate, it's not really worth it, because it's just going to be a mess of switching and moving cartridges.
That was a mistake.
That's just a terrible thought. Laziness. on Nintendo. Nintendo doing something stupid, I guess, really can't even be considered too much news these days. I don't know if this,
The light dims, but we fight.
This last act of
there's not really much of anything here. Just a interview with the No More Heroes developer saying the Switch is a punk console, but really all he's doing is just advertising his next game, and so he's gonna say whatever he's told to say. The concept of the Switch being a punk console might be true in Japan, but in the rest of the world it clearly is a console for kids, like all the other Nintendo consoles. The Doom version of on the Switch, by the way, won't have Snap Map or multiplayer. No Snap Map at all is what I saw, and you'll have to download multiplayer separately, which really isn't a big loss because nobody really okay.
The light dims, but
Like,
we fight.
I don't think that many people were clamoring for Snap Map anyways, or the multiplayer in Doom.
reporting for duty. The battle.
Let's kill that guy. Tim Schafer, the CEO of Double Fine, says crunch mentality is misguided and old-fashioned. I'm happy for him to say that. That being said, the truth of the matter is, it's not like Double Fine's making any great games. Like, right now they're working on Psychonauts 2, so hopefully Psychonauts 2 will be good, but before that, you have to... I have to really think back to the last Double Fine game that was actually good as an art piece. Like, I think there is a happy medium between what... Well, that was useless. Let's just try Shaman. Why not? We play Shaman a lot. Valve has the exact opposite of a crunch mentality, in the sense that they never make any games ever because there's no pressure to finish anything. Double Fine has slightly better of a way of thinking, in which they do allow people to propose games and they do make those games, but the games aren't very good, and I don't think the people at Double Fine really know how to make games anymore. Tim Schafer is a very old programmer that is the CEO now, and he's not really been replaced by any amazing names in his company. Like, I can't off the top of my head name anybody in his company that actually works on games compared to something like Pseudo51, who is a developer and is very much out there and talking. And that might also just be a difference of how game companies are run in the West versus the East in Japan, because there really aren't that many celebrity programmers at all in any Western company. I think they made like a Kiln game. I remember the last thing Double Fine made was they had this game jam. 3 of those games were picked, and at least one of them was made and I think released, but I cannot for the life of me think of anything else about it. Like, and they really live on the old games that they made, the Day of the Tentacle remakes, Secret of Monkey Island, Maniac Mansion, which they don't, I think, have the rights to Maniac Mansion, so this article I don't even think is right. And Psychonauts. And so, honestly, probably their special edition of Secret of Monkey Island 2, it was the latest thing that they've done, and they didn't even bother to remake Curse of Monkey Island, which would have been Secret of Monkey Island 3, so they kind of stopped there. My chat's not directly up, but I can see it here. Kevin likes to play, want to play me later. Kevin says, wait, I have to sleep, never mind. Okay, sorry, Kevin. That's Kevin the Woo under a different account. Well, if you're under a different account, by the way, you would... well, it's probably the same Hearthstone account. I do have a watch and learn, but if you need to sleep, that's more important, so... Sorry, I missed you. It is crazy, but I don't know what to do about it. Like, as far as just waking up at the wrong time. My choices were stream right now, or not stream at all, or stream at 6 in the morning when I was still awake, and then probably have nobody view. So, and I tried the 6 in the morning thing before, and people didn't like it. Maybe I should try it again. I'm certainly not able to do massive sample sizes. Same is true when I play Hearthstone. It's like I'm frustrated that I'm not winning, but really, am I playing even 100 games a month? Maybe, at most. But you kind of have to just live with that too. I mean, I'm not going to play 1,000 or 1,000,000 games every month to get a better, more accurate depiction of how the game, how well I'm doing in ranked play. Okay, the founder of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime. I thought it was Morhaime, but Morhaime, but it's Morhaime. Founded Blizzard thanks to a $15,000 loan from his grandmother, interest-free loan, about 30 years ago. So that would have been quite a lot of money. And let's face it too, the Blizzard that they're talking about is not the Activision Blizzard that we are experiencing and dealing with now. So there is also a level of there's a level of disconnect there. Like, the original Blizzard made the original Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo. That's the original Blizzard. Now we have a very different company that's mostly about World of Warcraft, and they're doing Overwatch, and they're doing Heroes of the Storm, and they're Activision is doing Destiny. So really different company. And sure, if at that time, if you get if you can get a loan, a significant loan that's interest free, you can drastically increase your chances of succeeding in almost any venture. We have Gizmozo saying, what are some simple tips? I don't know what tips you really want. Tips on Hearthstone? Just play. Bang your head against that wall. Look up the meta decks and play the meta decks that everybody else is playing. Win 50% of the time and try to be satisfied with that. Try to have fun. Try to limit your exposure to Hearthstone. Might be a good move too. That's kind of all you can do, is just there's really no great secret to Hearthstone, because Hearthstone is a competitive playing game. So like, there's no way to get a 90% win ratio. There's no way to get an 80% win ratio, even if you were playing single player the whole time. Which maybe that is the solution, is if they just allowed me to do all the daily quests on solo player, and then they gave me some kind of reward for getting some kind of rank, or reward for playing single player, where I could really succeed consistently. Like,
The cold don't bother him.
see, Overwatch Jeff Kaplan says the community needs to take a deep look inwards on toxic behavior. Uses developer update. How toxic is the behavior in Overwatch? Is the question. Because this is inherently this growing thing. It is part of why people just continuously mention every time PewDiePie screws up, and he does screw up. But the reason they keep bringing it up, and they keep pushing it, and they keep pushing it, and they're just never going to be satisfied. Like, I've been very disappointed in the past week, and I don't want to get on the PewDiePie thing again, but every single podcast that came out and was recorded after that completely dismissed the fact that PewDiePie immediately apologized in the stream. He said sorry. It was like the third word after he said the bad word he shouldn't have said, and they completely ignored that. They completely ignored his more thought out, distinct, separate apology video, and they just keep pushing, and they just keep pushing, and it's effectively bullying. And that's the thing, is they're gonna just keep pushing this narrative that the video game industry is full of toxic people, full of toxic talk, and it needs to improve. It needs to improve. It needs what they're pushing for is they want to censor, they want to deplatform people. That's what a lot of the video game critics and print media and the big reviewers want. And they can deny it or ignore it all they want, but it's clearly what they want, because they just don't drop it. In fact, they just push it, and they grow this narrative much in the same way that you'll see some news channel grow a narrative and just talk about something over and over and over again to make it seem like it's something that just never stops, when it's the reporting of it that never stops. And see, so it has always been the case that kids say stupid things, and even, let's face it, even adults say stupid things when they are competitive. You can go back to the you can go back to thousands of years ago in sports games. You can go look at any examples of trash talking. Trash talking has existed for probably as long as humans could talk, and this is something that has always been the case, and it's never going to fully be eliminated. You're not going to get 100% of people even sitting next to you if you're doing a couch co-op game. You're not going to be able to get everybody to never let something slip out or do a little trash talking or say something bad. This is just human nature. So the idea of saying that Overwatch is toxic, I don't play Overwatch, I don't know. But I bet it is no worse than any other game, and I bet it will never be improved anyways. I bet it is no worse than what you would hear said in many houses during football games or baseball games. I bet it is no worse than what you would hear in the stadiums of many sports events. These are things that each individual person has to decide whether they want to work on that or whether they don't. The people that don't want to work on it are never going to improve, and they're just going to die out. And the people that do want to work on it will work on it and recognize it themselves. Like PewDiePie, I honestly believe knows he shouldn't have said that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said sorry immediately afterwards. And he is working on that. He clearly needs a publisher, somebody. He also needs like a 7-second delay because he could have fixed that immediately. Like as he was live streaming, if he had just had a button to cut that or beep that, he would have solved the problem right there. So one thing. Gizmozo says tips for how to make decks. Just look up decks. I mean, they're on that point. There's literally, if you want to make decks, just look up the meta decks and just Google it. Like, it's so random based on what cards you have that nothing I tell anybody is going to be helpful for anybody else. And then Gizmozo says there needs to be a censored YouTube for family-friendly content. All of YouTube is the censored YouTube for family-friendly content. There needs to be an uncensored YouTube for non-family-friendly content. But that's not the line that they're drawing. They're drawing a even bigger line. That they're trying to censor YouTube to the point of, and it's not just that people are trying to censor YouTube. They're trying to censor the entire world and language police the entire world to the point where anything deemed by the people that are trying to do this will not be allowed. So it starts with a clearly objectionable action, and then it gets pushed. The line gets pushed, and the line gets pushed, and the line gets pushed, until the point comes about where you say, I don't like SJWs, and they will say, you're bullying us, you should be banned from this game, you shouldn't be allowed to play video games. And that's really what they're getting down to, is that they're trying to institute downright fascism onto the video game community that they don't even really represent. And there's been a lot of examples of this, and that's why there's a growing dislike for the traditional games medias, because some of these people don't seem like they know how to play games. There's a video certainly where I'm wondering, I'm surprised the guy didn't come back and say that he was actually mentally damaged because he could not even get through the tutorial of Cuphead, and he'd been in the industry for 21 years. But they don't have the mentality that's anywhere in line with an average gamer. And this is shown in many instances. It's why many Japanese games now and game developers are not even bothering to release things in the West, is because they have heard this minority group that is so loud and so obnoxious and always complaining about something. That they don't want to deal with them, so they're not even released anything. The thing about YouTube is YouTube's job should be to give content to the people who want it. If you're a mature adult and you don't mind a little trash talk, you should be able to find those videos on YouTube. If you're a 4-year-old who is looking for like unboxing videos of toys, you should be able to find that and not be indulged with anything that is offensive. That's not what they're trying to do right now, though. What they're trying to do is kick all of the content by demonetizing it off of YouTube to the point where there will be nothing interesting at all on YouTube. Like, I would say approaching 50% of all the content that I find interesting and watch has complained about being demonetized and is at a higher risk of just stopping, not making any more content, which vastly increases the chance for me of not playing. Here we go. Let's try this guy. Because I have a challenger friend. Like there very possibly will be a time when I just stop watching YouTube altogether because everything will be gone. Like there'll just be nothing interesting on this channel. So that's not a way to fix things. Like, it would be the equivalent of saying that HBO doesn't deserve to exist because Game of Thrones is too violent. That's what they're pushing for, is they want to destroy YouTube, which in parts should be Game of HBO and in parts should be PBS. It should have different sections that are clearly divided. If you just look at the ESRB ratings, almost all games are rated M. If certain people had their way, every rated M game would not be available for people to play at all, and you'd be left with probably less than 10 games per year. But I'm kind of getting off on a rant. Let me know in the comments if Overwatch chat is really any worse than any other. I bet it's exactly the same. That it's just the perception of the developers that needs to be shifted. Honestly, like, trash talk has always been existing. All you can do is let a player report a person and let a person. How did?
Job's done.
This is weird. It's visually glitched. No. Oh, it's just a card back. I thought he had already lost all of his cards. But if you're letting a player mute a player, if you're letting a player report a player, that's kind of all you need to do. And then you just don't really even respond to the reports too much unless somebody is blatantly cheating. That's all you need to do. If you're trying to control an entire community, the entire video game community, if you're trying to push a never-ending narrative, which is the problem, is like, if these were legitimate arguments that could be fixed and then people would stop complaining about it, I would agree with them. But I've been in the video game world, I've been playing video games almost all my life. You're never going to satisfy them. They're just going to push it and push it and push it, and and ask for more and ask for more and ask for more. And the games, if they give an inch, they'll ask for a mile, and games will get worse and worse and worse. Like, you'll have a Zelda game come out where there's no fighting whatsoever because it's too violent. You have a Mario game where there's no coins because it insults the poor to being able to collect money. You have a Metroid game where you can't kill any of the Metroids because it's cruelty to animals. It would just never stop. Fiction, and this is all fiction, and it should all be acceptable. The players being offensive and saying offensive things, it's always an individual case, so that will never be fixed. Like, if you got all of the video game industry, everybody's playing a video game right now, to somehow never let any bad word or mean thing slip from their lips, that only fixes it for about a day until a new kid gets into a video game and then they let bad words. Like, anybody that has children knows that their kids are going to hear bad words and they're going to use it at least once. It's just how things go. And so it's an impossible thing to fix. Let's see, I'm going through the news here, and there's really not a lot of news. But yeah, I'm still on this rant. Axiom Verge is going to launch early on the Switch eShop, which I didn't even know they had the eShop up. But I guess what the Virtual Console and the eShop are different things. However, the reason why it's releasing early is because the actual print version of it, the physical version of it, is delayed. So they're speeding up the release of the digital version in a weird way. I don't know why you won't. Yeah, Doom on Switch won't have the snap map level editor. I already said that. Let's see. Duplicate this. Call of Duty World War II beta will be free for everyone later this month. This is almost a not news segment at this point. Like, because betas should be free, or they should be closed betas. And even if they were closed betas, they still should be free. Like, the concept that they very quickly, the game developer industry has tried to sell beta access to people, and it's succeeded, is shocking how quickly this has started to happen. Why in the world would you pay for beta access? That being said, it's just early access by a different name, and people have been paying for early access games on Steam, and I guess that's where this comes from. Remember, Ark Survival Evolved, I don't believe is still in early access. Conan Exiles is still in early access. I would say technically the very disappointing space game that I can't remember the name of is still in early access a year later. Mini games have been in early access for a long time. Let's see. The Ooblets developer says, quote, "Know it or not, your role in making a game is that of a marketer." Which, okay, fair enough. That seems right. That you've got to sell your idea to people and play. Play it. Which sadly goes right back to the PewDiePie thing, because the Firewatch developers, Campo Santo, certainly failed to market their game by stepping into a issue that they didn't even have to do anything about, and they've suffered greatly now because everybody is downvoting Firewatch like crazy. And honestly, I don't think I'll be buying Firewatch anytime soon either. If they're willing to abuse the DMCA, which they are. That is the other thing that was very frustrating, is I'm listening to many video game reviewers of big companies saying that, yeah, Let's Plays aren't fair use. They're not really fair use. That this is totally right. One of the things also is there's just a clear lack of knowledge. People don't watch PewDiePie. I don't watch PewDiePie either, and yet they seem to think they know a lot about him. And so, or they pretend like they know a lot about him, and that's also frustrating to have them like, I don't really watch him, but I know he's a bad guy because they've read it in their newspapers, they've read it in the Washington Post, and they just take their news sources for gospel, without really doing the kind of research that a news reporter should do, because they're lazy. And again, they're taking the DMCA aspect here, that a DMCA would stand up in court for gospel, when that is absolutely uncertain. I'm not going to go the opposite way and say that if PewDiePie gets taken to court and makes a fair use, he'll win, but I heavily suspect he would, as long as he pays enough lawyers to argue the case right. And if he does do that, he will set a precedence, particularly in this instance where they had given license to somebody. You cannot retroactively take away a license you gave, because then you could retroactively claim people were doing all kinds of things after you gave them permission, and people could entrap people into violating copyright by saying, here, you can stream our game, and then saying, no, we're taking that license away and that permission away, therefore we're suing you now. But literally, Campo Santos could have easily just been quiet about it. And I haven't seen any real news of anybody else following suit, but that was their plan, certainly, as they wanted to get the entire gaming industry to remove all of PewDiePie's content, which in itself that might be illegal, because then that is a personal attack against PewDiePie, like the Washington Post, where he should have sued them too. Like, if the entire video game industry colludes to damage PewDiePie's source of income, he could potentially sue them all, and for a lot, considering he makes a lot of income, for damages. Let's see, moving on, trying to move on at least. Psychonauts is free at the Humble store, end of summer sale. So if you don't have Psychonauts, which is kind of hard to believe that you wouldn't at this point, go over to the Humble store and get it for free. Like I said earlier, Psychonauts 2 is in the works, and that will eventually come out. Apparently, there's rumors of a GTX 1070 Ti. I need to get a new video card in about a year, so I am debating, do I get like a Titan X Ti or something when it's a year old, or do I see what the next thing is?
Side effects? No.
Minecraft was released really quickly a couple days ago, just on surprise for the new 3DS. Minecraft's still a weird one because it's like the new Myst, is what I heard someone say, in that it's just being released on everything. It probably is some variant of a Pocket Edition with even less likelihood of getting updates. So I feel like if you're not playing the Java version of Minecraft, you're probably not playing the real like,
I feel empty inside.
that would be my guess. Is that, yeah, just play the, if you're not playing the Java version of Minecraft, you're probably not playing anything worth playing. Also, there's a great argument that Minecraft is just old hat now. I just don't know if kids these days really want to play Minecraft, or if they've just moved on. There's several new Pokemon games, or versions of Pokemon games, that were announced at the Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Direct actually announced a decent number of games I'll never play because I'm never going to play Nintendo again. They also announced that they were going to supposedly increase the number and re-release the NES Classic in some form or fashion. So maybe they finally figured out that people wanted it. There's a 2D adventure platform called Sir Eats a Lot for the PS Vita that launches this winter. Let's see. Is it in Japan only, though? And this game looks a little too cutesy to be a Japan only game. I think it'll make it over to the West, but I don't have any real evidence of it. Let's see.
The eternal hunt has begun.
Let's see how this works. Not well. Did not work well for me at all. I just found a way to kill myself. There's this Kickstarter game, and I don't say support Kickstarter, but there's an Iranian artist that's trying to make a point-and-click adventure game called Lona Realm of Colors, and it reached its Kickstarter goals. Now, in my extremely limited knowledge of Iran, it feels like it's one of the most progressive Middle Eastern countries, to the point where this person would be able to get rather far in their development, but there is a heavy danger of them going in one direction or the other and irritating somebody, and either being not allowed to continue or being thrown in jail or worse. That is my understanding of Iran. It's one of these countries that tries to say it's a modern country, but it still has very restrictive controls over its people, and so I would be afraid for its creator. Now maybe the Iranian artist isn't actually in Iran, and so they left the country. It is a very interesting concept though, because we would like more creators and more voices to come out of there. So the best case scenario for something like this is this game succeeds, it's great, it shows the country of Iran, the government of Iran, that more artists should be allowed to create more things, and that we would see, and then we would see more creations from that. I am not getting anywhere in this tavern brawl, by the way. Not anywhere at all. But the other problem is this is a Kickstarter game, so it's been funded. It hit a stretch goal of $35,000, so they're not even asking for that much. But if you're making your own game and it's just a point-and-click adventure, I think you could probably do it at $35,000. So that'll be an interesting one to look. On the other hand, maybe the only real reason that it would be interesting to look at it is because it's made by an Iranian artist. But similar things would be true for many countries. Any of the Caribbean places like Cuba, Haiti, if any of them made a video game, they would get extra appearance, extra attention. If any of these South American countries made a video game, they'd get attention. I've just accidentally played a couple of Finnish games from Finland, and that was slightly interesting. But you know, all of Europe, it has a pretty established game development community now. So particularly with CD Projekt Red and The Witcher 3 establishing firmly that Europe is always going to be a player. Russia in the very old days developed Tetris, but they haven't been greatly productive since then. They're more focused on cracking the TRM on games, and the world is, at least some of the world is very thankful for that. But maybe the Stalker games are made by a Russian company, since that's set in Russia, but I can't think of any other company. They probably are making games, but it might be a case like a lot of Chinese games that they just don't bother to get translated to the English, so they don't come to this side of the world.
Job's done.
Apparently Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap sold better on the Switch than all other platforms combined. That's believable. Like, Wonder Boy was a very niche game in the first place, and would have a lot more reason to be just randomly purchased by a parent getting a game for their kid than by somebody who was a fan of the old Wonder Boy, which this game was a remake of, and they wanted to play it on PC. Because if it wasn't called Wonder Boy, if it was Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, then that would have sold a lot more on Steam. But people don't really know what Wonder Boy is. It's third or fourth tier nostalgia at best.
Job's done.
And so, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It speaks to a growing strength of the Switch, which, with the latest announcements of games, they are now filling up the, what would you call it? They're filling up the, the releases that go on the Switch. Like, there actually are some games for the Switch now about a year into its release. Now, this would be the Christmas season where you could start to think about it, particularly if Mario Odyssey comes out, and because then you could go back and play you could go back and play Zelda. You could probably play Splatoon. Project Arms is probably worth playing. There's I imagine some decent amount of work that you can a decent selection of games that you can play. Let's see, Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana delayed on PC 1 day before its launch. That kind of sucks. Like, man, the Japanese video game developers and publishers are way not on the ball. It's like, we're gonna have to just start calling everything Japanese time at this point, and that's probably an insulting term to even begin the phrase, but there is kind of a consistency and a lack of consistency when it comes to making and releasing games on time. Let's see. NIS America says a new date will be announced as soon as it has one. Delayed both on Steam and Good Old Games. And see, that's a PC release, so it doesn't mean that the game failed some kind of certification, unless the game is just horribly broken. Because it's not like Good Old Games or Steam really does anywhere as difficult of a certification on games as what, well, what Xbox or PlayStation required. Xbox and PlayStation did a lot more testing, a lot more certification. Let's see. Capcom kind of surprised everybody. Okami HD is coming out in December 12th with 4K support. It's going to be, let's see, $20. And it will be Xbox One, PS4 Pro featuring it. So it also is, I thought I saw that it was coming to PC, but this article doesn't say that. I'm pretty sure it is. And that is nice to see, because that means that a game that once was a Wii only exclusive is now playable in a much better version. I don't know if there's a ton of games that were Wii exclusives that would that we would see coming over. Zombie U, I guess, was another game that came that was an exclusive to a Nintendo console, but that's really the only one I can think of that aren't first-party Nintendo titles that will never come out. So, video games.
Do not fear those who wield
I'm going through all this news. A lot of news articles here that aren't really news. Terra Battle 2 launches September 21st on iOS, Android, and PC. So that'll be an interesting one. I imagine it's just a cell phone port. I played a hidden object game this week that because it was a hidden object game that was ported from a cell phone PC cell phone game, it didn't it had this element in it that would have required you to swipe left and swipe right on the controller on the touchscreen to succeed. And because I had a mouse, I had to try it like 10 different times before I could get it to succeed, and it was just a terrible port. The game was really bad, but it is a hidden object game, so that kind of, it shouldn't be surprising in the first place. Xbox Live Indie Games is officially closing down the 29th of September. I don't think they've been taking any submissions. Xbox Live Indie Games, never a major success. Anyways, if we're just gonna be honest,
The glory is mine.
let's kill this, and then this, and then end the turn. Only a few games ever came out of the Xbox Live Indies that were even worth playing. And I imagine it's just they've changed the name so much, sort of. Apparently, the Video Game Museum, the National Video Game Museum in Frisco, Texas, has now put out their scholarships. Let's see, there's 4 scholarships. One is for Frisco, Texas residents, one is for Texas residents, and one is for Texas residents Tier 1 school. Must be graduating from a state of Texas designated Title I school and have a household income of $50,000 or less. And then there's Women in Technology scholarships. So they're giving away some scholarships to try to help increase and improve the video game industry. And so if anybody wants to try to apply for that and they qualify, that's there. They also had a way to help Houston with its flooding, which was 9/14, so it's probably already happened. The National Video Game Museum is this kind of a new museum for video games, but it also kind of is probably going to be the biggest one in the United States. Everybody else has some private collections, and there's some other groups that are collecting everything but not turning it into a museum per se. This one, they put a lot of pictures out, and you can see on their Twitter that they've got at least a small amount of room where people can go and see games, and you can get kids interested in old games. So it's probably something to follow, and I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 to 10 years it's a major, the major museum. Let's see. James Anderson comes on the chat and says, about time. Yep, well, what can I say? Insomnia. But also, to make a small point, I don't know how to respond to what the right way to respond to a lot of the demands of the fans are. Like, I would ask fans not to make demands. Like, I feel like I've been pretty honest about, like, I have insomnia. I can't promise any schedule. I've never promised any time or any day to stream. And I probably would never actually do that. So, people being upset because I'm not streaming, or I'm not streaming when they want me to stream, like, it just kind of irritates me. Like, I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish or what you want there. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is ad supported, so as close to free as I can make it content. I don't work for people. I don't work for the fans. They don't pay me enough for me to work for them. So I'd ask people not to complain and not to make demands. Not the backseat drive. There's a lot of backseat driving that goes on in the chat too, and it's my only response that I can think of is just going to be a rude response. It's like I can say no, and that's kind of it a lot of times. And I don't like to have to say no, but a lot of times that's the only thing you can say. Moving on with the news, the Metroid Samus Returns game apparently is really good, which people are happy for that, but it certainly took them a long time. There's this game that's called Hyper Universe, which is a 2D take on a MOBA with towers and 4x4 melee. It seems like it's a fighter game, but somehow it's a MOBA. Interesting. Yeah, I think the Silent Post Show 2 is out. Like, I think the messages I've gotten have been very consistent, and if I was to just continue doing it right now, I would be knowingly just turning a blind eye to it. While it very possibly helped my channel to stream in Silent Post shows, it did it at the expense of irritating everybody, and if I irritate everybody, that's not helping my channel anymore. So I don't think we're doing the Silent Post show anymore. That does mean, however, that if people may see me online more, and I'll still be busy, and I still won't talk to people, but I'll be online and not streaming, because I'll be playing the game, just trying to get daily quests done, which almost certainly with this late schedule stream, like maybe at 10, maybe even less, we'll just be done, even if I don't have all of the games. Even if I don't have all the daily quests, because there's certainly a not a lot of chat going on right now, kind of obviously, you know. It's not because it's a Thursday, I don't think. It's just because it's late. It's just because I started late. The iPhone X came out. That's not really video game related, although I imagine the iPhone X, or it's supposed to be pronounced iPhone 10, but I'm going to call it the iPhone X, I imagine it's gonna, it has a better video card in it, so because of that it will succeed a little bit better. I need to just see if I can challenge somebody and they will help me with this Tavern Brawl, because this is not working at all. The iPhone 10 is $1,000. For $1,000 you can build a pretty good PC. PC Gamer put out a sample build, for example. You can get a Core i5 7400, let's see, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and a 1080 8 gigabyte video card, and the case and the power supply and everything else you would need for $1,000. The new iPhone 10, by the way, has quick charging, but the plug it comes with doesn't support it. So you're going to have to spend another $50 to do quick charging. They did embrace the wireless charging, and theoretically it should be power mat capable, but it may not work. And that even though it has that, and it has had NFC before, that doesn't mean it lets programs access the NFC. So there's a decent number of apps that are on Android phones that can use NFC to do different things. That's not really how it works on Apple. And there's a lot of complaints that them creating even more versions of the game of the iPhone just to sell you a new iPhone is ridiculous. And it's still using a lightning cable as far as I can tell, so they're not adapting the USB-C standard, which is, in my opinion, not acceptable. In a lot of ways, the lightning cable might be the better cable than even USB-C, because the idea of the lightning cable, as I understand it, is if you bend the cable, it's supposed to snap off the connector and not break the it's supposed to snap off the plug on the cord, which is cheaper than taking apart the entire phone and fixing the connector. Which might be a good idea. That being said, the USB-C connector might just fall out if you step on it most of the time. Is this guy just toying with me? Let's see. The British video game store that's like GameStop, that's just called Game, put in a British UK store, put up a inappropriate comment. And here's the interesting thing, is like this story really got no coverage at all. So more evidence that they are specifically targeting YouTubers, Let's Players, and PewDiePie in particular. They put out hashtag Hurricane Irma may be causing chaos, but check out our crazy good hashtag tech deals to brighten up your day. Hashtag Game Love Tech. Game Loves Tech. And so that's their tweet. They deleted it, but not before people saw it, certainly. And, like, literally no story. I've heard nobody mention it at all. So, when it's somebody big in the industry, where Game isn't really even that big of a company, really. Let's see. When it's somebody big in the industry, nobody reports it. When it's PewDiePie, everybody reports it over and over again. Yeah, it's a clear bias at the very least. It's a lack of professional ethics in the reporters. I'm running out of cards. Let's see. I don't think there's any way I win this. Let's see. The thing I wanted to do is, since this article is about Firewatch getting review bombed, let's go and look at Firewatch's reviews right now. Like, I don't think any other company is getting review bombed. Because I don't think any other company is so stupid to do what they did. Alright, let's see. Right now, the reviews are mixed on Firewatch, where the overall reviews were very positive. 51% of the 1,654 user reviews in the last 30 days are positive. 51%. Whereas 85% of the 26,633 user reviews were positive over the lifetime of the game, and the game was released February 9th, 2016. Let's see. So all they have to do now, the problem too about this is nobody has reported, so I don't know if they actually did ever file a DMCA. Like, I have not seen anything whatsoever, and PewDiePie would certainly be in the smart position not to mention it, but if they actually filed a DMCA and an actual DMCA and not the YouTube's fake DMCA takedown, that would be that's where there's actual story to report. But PC Gamer here has an article saying it's totally legal for them to do it. Yeah, it's legal in the sense that you can file the paperwork. Is that paperwork going to stand up in court, though? And the answer to that is unknown. So they're misconstruing the issue. Besides the iPhone being announced, the Apple TV has a game that's coming out. Well, iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV by that game company, Sky. And see, if Firewatch was just a garbage game and they just were trying to sell Tragic Master, save me, please. Let me win. The stupid frozen recipes. I guess that's what we're doing. Please play me, Tragic Master. Yeah. I don't like being upset about this either. It's stupid. It was a stupid story that shouldn't have been reported in the first place. Or at the very least it should have been mentioned. Darn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. There, I said a bad word. I apologize. I'm so tired of this. Let's just play some ranked play and bang our head against that. I have no other deck that is anywhere close to succeeding. People did say the Pirate Druid, so we can try the Pirate Druid again. I haven't given it a lot of experiments, but that's about it. Like, the Murloc deck is the only deck that's even begun to show some success, and it's not really showing a lot of success. And every other meta deck that people should play, like Jade Druid, all require an epic card that I just don't have. There's 3 or 4 epic cards that are very worthwhile getting, and I just don't have them. Which is really just to prove that this game is pay to win, because I haven't paid enough to win, obviously. The iPhone does have technology like the Kinect to scan your face. It projects dots in the infrared spectrum on your face to do a texture map. So it's kind of like the Kinect, but that's a very, like, small connection. Like, not much of a connection at all. Let's see. Maybe I could do this one.
What to do?
Yes, I'm looking at Humble Bundles now, because that's it. That's it for the news, pretty much.
I'm in charge now.
It's so sad that on a subject that everybody can agree on, the supporters of one side can be so abrasive that it turns people against them. And in that way, there was a, like, same-sex marriage proposition that happened in California that almost everybody in California was for, yet the people who were on the streets trying to get more people to vote yes were so abrasive and so aggressive about it that it turned people away from them, and it backfired. Their attempts backfired, which just, I guess, goes to say you should always do everything in a nuanced fashion and just subtly. You have to ease people into your into a conversation. You can't just think like this is a debate that's happening on a TV station or on a stage. On a stage. The idea of a public debate is actually just a farcical piece of theater. It doesn't change people's minds. It doesn't succeed. If you are going to do an actual debate, it needs to be two very well informed, very well researched people. But yelling and shouting never gets you anywhere. This is something that everybody should have learned in childhood, and apparently people haven't learned it. But being abrasive doesn't win people over, and that's kind of the problem here. Like, I keep running up to people that I honestly, on the face of it, agree with many people's opinions and what they're saying, but they're so pushy, they are so persistent, they're so it's kind of like what the Anita Sarkeesian women in video games issue was, is that if she had just come out and said, here's my examples of why some women in video games have some problems, but here's some counterexamples where that isn't the case, and I've done the research and I actually knew what I was talking about, then people wouldn't have been upset. But that's not what she did. She said it was all women were problematic in video games, and that there wasn't a single good video game female ever depicted in any game, and it was just such a mischaracterization of the case. And also, she literally didn't know anything about video games. Like, and she was simply using this Kickstarter project to make money for herself. And I'm about to lose again. And then she didn't even deliver on what she promised on the Kickstarter until years later. So really, she was just a scammer who stirred up controversy for no reason, and then sold a product based on that controversy. Is that a fair? Is one game fair enough for the Pirate Warrior deck? I think it is. I know somebody gave me that deck, but sorry. Let's see, and I'm teetering here on 18th. Let's see the chat. Nobody said anything in the chat in a while. The news is done. Well, about 45 minutes over, where I should have broken up. So let's play one more game, and then let's just look at our daily quest on the other things and see what we have to do. And I really have no idea how this could be fun. Like, for people to watch me play just this one ranked play deck over and over again. Like, you're not putting any variety into your gameplay at that point. And see, this is a 50% win ratio. This is the best deck I have. And it's about to get nerfed in like 4 days. And maybe this deck will still win perfectly fine in that case. But maybe it won't. And let's see, I guess I'm done with the news, so I can minimize that and we can bring up the chat directly. In better news, I am now at the 200 subscriber point, I guess. When I last looked, I was at 200 subscribers. That is still an incredibly small amount. I'm not super obsessed with subscribers, but yeah, it is a small amount. It's certainly when I look at like the 40 or 50 views I get on one of these live streams, it's certainly not big numbers by any measure, any realistic measure at least. Alright, so we need 4 more Murlocs.
This beast will not be tamed.
And unless this one kills this one, I should be fine. There we go. This probably is in the bag. Unless he does something, some kind of board clear. And even if he did do a board clear in 2 turns, I could probably succeed.
Well played.
But at 50%, one victory doesn't get me enough. Because you have to get like 2 or 3 wins at the beginning to start getting a win streak. And then you have to I don't want to break the streak, so we'll keep playing here. then you have to succeed at least twice in a row to get those bonus stores. Well, no, you get 3 in a row, and as long as you keep going, you get that win streak, and that's the only way you seem to be able to get up at all. But then you have to, either this deck has to increase above its 50% win ratio, or it has to get very lucky and get really high and then lose a lot. So if I got up to rank 1 and then lost a lot, that would be it. Red Phoenix came on. Hello, how much longer are you planning on going? Not a lot longer. I'm done with the news. It's been mostly just complaining and controversy. Like, I've got I need help on the Tavern Brawl, Red Phoenix, if you want to help me with that. And then I haven't even looked at the European and Asian accounts, but I also need 2 more victories on the Americas account, and I'm not going to do any more silent post show things, particularly tonight since it's so late. So I'm thinking 10, maybe 11. Maybe we'll go to midnight if Red Phoenix wants to really talk, and if he can start some conversations, and if more people get on the on here. Like, Red Phoenix, you may not have noticed this, but when you log in and start talking, other people get notified and they jump in too. So one person talking seems to start this snowball effect. My Nightbot, is it working? Yes, it is. Tragic Master came on and said, hello, sup everyone. And Midnight Riot. My stone will not work, so yeah, sorry. Well, alright, well. Unless Tragic Master wants to help me with the Tavern Brawl, or somebody else wants to help me with the Tavern Brawl, I'm mostly just banging my head against it. I cannot succeed in a realistic amount of time on it. So I'm on a win streak right now, and because of that, I'll try and get the 3 victories, and then I'll move over to the European and Asian accounts. Tragic Master says, sure man, I had to do something, but I'm finished now and I can help. Thank you. Thank you, Tragic. Yeah, as soon as this game is done, I'll send you a friendly request for the Tavern Brawl. I bet the microphone picked that up, me chewing on a soggy French fry. It's been sitting here since I started streaming. Yeah, I can't eat on stream. That's really bad. Tragic Master said, yo, Phoenix, and then Red Phoenix. Spelled it differently. Yep. At this rate, I don't think I'm winning. Yep. I don't know about the whole spelling thing, particularly in chat. It's like, I noticed that sometimes I'm a little rude about that too, and I just correct people's spelling for no real reason. Like, what? Everybody's just gonna type in chat because this is not permanent record or anything. And James Anderson says, daddy, what does that mean? Play this, this, this in the train. And I'm playing against rank 17, I'm rank 18. You'd think if I beat a rank 17 it would give me bonus stars. James Anderson says, I've been waiting for you to stream, dude. Well, I've been streaming for an hour and a half now.
The shadows beckon.
I think it's very fair to tell people to not wait for me to stream, because you will be waiting for a long time and you will never know when I'm gonna be doing it. Let's see, I could play this. Like, catch the stream if it's live, catch it later if it isn't.
Amazing.
But don't wait for me, because waiting for me is gonna lead to disappointment on your part. Let's see. Yeah, I did all of that, but I still didn't have enough to win. Could I have done something differently? Not really, unless I could have given this charge. Because I'm at like 1 health.
Well played.
200 subs exactly, says Red Phoenix. Yep. If it was 2,000 or 20,000, this channel would actually be probably financially viable. Like, a lot of it though comes down to how many of those 200 subs are watching the pre-recorded content or going back and watching any of the old content, because that's really where the channel is suffering. If all 200 subs went and watched the over 5,000 videos that I have, and gave every single video at least 200 views, then that would be something. But it's still below the 301 number that YouTube used to use, at least before they cared about a video. They used to very specifically not even care about a video unless it got 301 views. So Red Phoenix says, I'm watching Hex Cells and Human Resources Machine. Thank you, and that's helping that. And clearly it's asking way too much to ask any subscriber to watch all 5,000 videos quickly, because that's just not going to be the case. It's going to take a long time, years, and people are just not going to be interested in everything I did. One of the things that I do plan on getting around to doing whenever I have free time, if I ever have free time again in my life, is I need to make a playlist that just has episode 1 of everything, so people can go watch the first episode, see if they're interested in that, and then that way they can go and check out the playlist for that entire game. And that'll take a little bit of work, but I can get that done. But if everything had 200 views, it would be a lot better. The snowball effect would be more of a snowball effect. It only takes like one person to chat in a live stream to get more people to a live stream, but it takes probably, I would guess, 1,000 to 10,000 views and interactions. Playlist to playlist, says Red Phoenix. You can't do that. unfortunately. Google added. I wish Google would do a lot of things. I have this fear. As I'm looking at their beta of their new version, I have a fear they're actually planning on taking out a lot of features and just not replacing them at all. But you can't put playlists in a playlist. It would be nice if you could, but then that would be confusing too. So I can make a playlist of the first episode of each thing, and I can make a playlist that has all the videos up to 5,000 videos per playlist. But that is what my everything playlist is supposed to be. But there's no subfolder style of doing things.
Job's done.
One of your playlists has 4,985 videos. That's the everything playlist and the latest videos. And that's the old ones. I had to make new ones because at 5,000 you can't add anymore, and it doesn't really tell you that. And it's slightly below 5,000 because some videos got deleted. I guess in my entire career on my YouTube channel, I've probably deleted 15 videos. That seems about right. Deleted and replaced them with something else, I imagine. You also have a Headlander playlist, but all the videos are privated. Or you're just too busy, and this seems more like a hobby, says James Anderson. Like, to respond to James Anderson, the only thing that I'm busy with is this channel and not doing this channel and not doing anything else. So if I'm too busy like sleeping, watching TV, watching Netflix, and generally just browsing YouTube and the internet. There's nothing else career-wise or job-wise there. So if this seems more like a hobby, it shouldn't. Like, it's not my goal to make it seem like a hobby. If I was going to treat it more like a hobby, then I would be even worse. I'd be way, way worse. I would stream whenever I felt like it and play a lot of Hearthstone when nobody's and not stream and all of that. Let me double check Headlander. I think the reason why Headlander is the way it is because it's scheduled to come out and it hasn't started airing yet. So let's see. Let's see here. Okay, October 2nd is when it stops airing.
Is someone injured?
And September 20th is when it starts airing. So on the issue of Headlander, there's several playlists like that, and that's because YouTube is stupid and they will show you playlists that don't have videos in it unless I make the playlist private, but then the playlist can't be scheduled to go live when a video starts to air. So what you've seen is a sneak peek on what's going to air on September 20th to October 2nd is when Headlander is going to start airing. James Anderson says, "Oh, okay, so you're lazy." Maybe. Lazy is really just it's kind of a subjective term, but yeah, it's real easy. It's real easy to call people lazy, ineffective, inefficient. I was doing very good for 2 years, honestly, and then I overcommitted a lot. When I started this channel, I did just 2 games pre-recorded, and it grew to nearly 6 games pre-recorded every weekday, and getting into that on top of doing 6 games pre-recorded pushed me to the limits, and then starting to live stream pushed me over the limits, and I just over-ambitiously have been spending a lot of time on the Hearthstone streams. 5-6 hours on things that used to only take me 3 hours and are a lot more energy draining, a lot more conversation happening. So I wouldn't fully just call it laziness, but some of it is. There are times when I'm lazy. Everybody is lazy every now and then, but also it is just I overcommitted and I was unrealistic about what I could do in a week's time, and I'm now trying to correct that. I've removed the after October there will no longer be a 2 o'clock Central time slot. Deep Space? Does it say Deep Space? It should say Dead Space. Red Phoenix. Yes, Submerged and Dead Space are also pre-recorded as well. That's the trick. If you want to see what is coming up early, that's
This jungle hides many secrets.
that's how you can look and see at the playlist. Yeah. As long as I spelled it right. Submerged and Dead Space are pre-recorded. Yep. That's what's coming up. Dead Space is part of the Halloween month of October, and then Submerged is a shorter game, so it's just kind of filling in before October. But there's actually a lot of things that I haven't scheduled, so they're not even there. And Red Phoenix says, and Series 25. Series 25 is just one of the series of months. Like, every month I label it as a series. So in that month, the same 4 or 5 games that I'm covering, in case I reference something, or it just kind of puts everything together in such a way that people... Wow, Tragic Master has found an interesting way for me to win here. Tragic Master says, smiley face? Yeah. So, one series will be the October month with all the October games. Sometimes I will mention that I'm playing some other game, and in the future, if I say, oh, I'm playing Dead Space right now, if you watch Series 25, Red Phoenix says, OMG, grow home. Alright. Tragic Master, you want to help me succeed in just a wild duel? Yeah, I have Grow Home. James Anderson says excuses. 2 different conversations happening here. I would ask anybody whatsoever to give me an example of any other YouTuber who releases 4 or 5 different games every weekday and live streams. If you can show me somebody like that, then I will take that as a valid argument that I'm not doing as much as I could. But most YouTubers, to be fair, and you should be fair to me here, Nerdcubed, how many videos does Nerdcubed put out per person? Let's see. I'm gonna go look at his YouTube channel right now, because I have not seen anybody do as much as I do as far as content. I have seen people that do better content. Toast, PewDiePie, Halapal. Okay, Disguised Toast live streams just playing Hearthstone. So maybe you got a valid then. PewDiePie does much shorter things, shorter videos. Almost all my videos are 30 minutes to an hour long. Although he's taken Jake Paul. I don't want to watch Jake Paul at all. Let's see. Official Nerdcubed video's last video was a month ago. Is there another Nerdcubed website? Nerdcubed is taking a month-long break. Okay. Let's. Well, before we do that, let's look. Nerdcubed, a month. He does like 20-minute videos. How many people are working on Nerdcubed? Is that just one person? 3 months. Like, let's look at his channel. He has, it doesn't say, but his about thing says insanity every Saturday. So does he just do it every Saturday? No, I think 2 or 3 says Red Phoenix. Let's. I think Jake Paul, by the way, is probably funded by somebody, so he's probably got a publisher and a whole team behind him. PewDiePie is a good question. How many videos does PewDiePie put out in a day? Because I can almost guarantee he puts out 1 video a day, and he does more editing, but his videos are about 10 minutes long on average, unless he's doing a live stream, which he doesn't put his live streams on his YouTube channel. And I probably have overstated it in a lot of ways, because even if there are 3 examples of 3 of the most popular YouTubers who are making a lot of money doing it, most YouTubers, most Let's Players, they put out 1 video a day. That's about the average. I'm doing 5 times that, 4 times that maybe in the future. I still feel like I'm doing more than I probably should. Jake Paul has only 405 videos in total, and he puts out about 1 a day. And also, Jake Paul's not a video game player, so like, it's easier. It's slightly a different situation. Anyways, So I guess the better way to say it is I'm not embarrassed by the number of videos I make. I'm not going to ever be able to fully satisfy the demand of one person on YouTube. That's not the point. People aren't gonna just watch me and nothing else. And when you think about how this channel really hasn't paid anything, it's given me one check. It's given me one check for $100 in 2.5 years. So I've done an incredible amount of work for effectively free and made an incredible amount of content that hasn't been seen. And so laziness, I don't think, is a fair statement at all. I suppose I take a little bit of offense to that. Red Phoenix says, but I don't count PewDiePie as a real YouTuber. He's a YouTuber. He's not a video game YouTuber per se. He plays video games every now and then, but he's more of a comedic person. In a lot of ways, what PewDiePie is doing is he is using the video games to be a springboard for his comedy bits and his reactions. And so he's more transformative than even me, where I'm just criticizing the games and playing the games and doing review and sometimes news reporting of it. He's doing something a little bit more artsy than what I'm doing. I would say. Red Phoenix says, do you know how many games you've done? I can probably give you a rough estimate. Let's see. I have a Google Excel sheet that has a list of each game. So if I scroll down, in the can, pre-recorded and scheduled, it looks like I've probably done 72 games, from most of which maybe only 2 or 3 were not played to the end. So 70 games in 2.5 years. You divide that by, let's just say it's been 3 years. I'll switch time. We're done with this. Oh, actually, let's open this first. So 3 years would be 36 months. So you're talking about you're talking about 2 games played completely beginning to end every month, which is a little bit higher than I think a normal player. I think a normal player would probably play alright, time to switch over as I'm looking into chat too. We have Gavin Daddy. What other games do you play? Not a great way to list them all, honestly. Look in the playlist tab. Those are all the other games I've played. I play almost every kind of game. There's MOBAs in particular. I guess I'm not going to play too many of those. So we need now spells, druid, hunter, overload, cards, a whole mess of everything. Is there anybody here that would help me with a tavern brawl? Let's get the spells done with the tavern brawl. I play almost all games. I want to try almost all games. I have more of a leaning to intellectual, deep thinking games like point-and-click adventure puzzle games than I do to first-person shooters and loot RPGs. I love Borderlands, don't get me wrong, but things like Call of Duty, Counter-Strike Go, there's tons of other people that do that on YouTube, and I don't really have an interest. Red Phoenix said you should do a video of your top 10 games. I don't know what my I don't really know what my top 10 games are. And if I did a top 10 games today, who's to say it probably would change in a year or so. I am planning on and have done in the past the end of year reviews and game of the year type thing. I think that's probably fair to say what was the game of the year this year. I don't really want to think about it right now, but I'll go ahead and think, like, what would be my game of the year this year? If it was Nier Automata had been patched and I had actually played it, which that certainly affects the game of the year, is did I actually play that game that year, which often isn't the case, then I might consider Nier Automata the game of the year for 2017. But then if I'm just going to pick games that I haven't played, I might consider Zelda Breath of the Wild the game of the year, or Splatoon the game of the year. But that's ridiculous to pick a game you didn't play. So I'd have to limit to something that I really did enjoy playing this year, and I'd have to go through the list to even think about it. Like, I think I probably did play Borderlands 1 this year. So, I might name Borderlands 1 at, I do know, as far as my top game, Portal and Portal 2 are going to be in that list of the top 10 somewhere. They're going to be high up there. Borderlands is going to be in there too. But I'm not sure exactly what the other games would be. I'm not super clingy to games. That's part of the thing about my channel, is that I want to play a game for a month and then I want to move on to the next game. I don't want to play it over and over again. I have bought a 10 terabyte drive and it's shipping, so a backup is coming soon. I wish you would send me a 10 terabyte hard drive. That'd be nice. I could use one of those too. But yeah, I'm just joking, of course. I should do top 10 videos, certainly. The putting a number in a video does seem to work. I should also have done some more clickbaity things. Like, I could have, on this stream, I knew I was going to talk about PewDiePie. I could have put PewDiePie in the name if I wanted. Red Phoenix says, then I would need your address. Yeah, and if I'm going to give out an address, I would need to get a P.O. box. Because that's, I'm not giving out my real address. James Anderson, you dumb, why deleted Shaming Quest? It could have completed it with Overload. I was trading something out to get more gold, and I did succeed at trading something, a 50 for a 60 or a 40 for a 60, so that worked. Also, the chat rules, #1 is be nice, so please don't call people names, including me. The European and Asian accounts only really need about 3,500 gold, and I Like, right now, if nobody was on the chat, I would have just did it. Red Phoenix also says, and a 10 terabyte drive is like $350. Where are the rules? Question mark. The rules are right here. All the chat rules right here. Right above where the chat is showing up on the screen. Tragic Master, be a human being. Yeah. One could argue that be nice is a rule that all human beings should follow at all times in all situations. Let's see, if you play an elemental, deal 5 damage. Discover an elemental. Golden rule, treat others as you would be treated. Yeah, I haven't heard the golden rule. I haven't heard anybody say the golden rule in a long time. Red Phoenix says aka use common sense. I think everybody has said enough though. We don't need to dogpile on one person. Well, let's just leave it at that. Let's not back people into a corner and force them into responding even more negatively. Red Phoenix goes, wait, can I be mean to myself? No, you can't. In the chat? No. No, you can't be mean to yourself.
Jaina versus Rexa.
Let the hunt begin.
You asked for it.
No, you can only be nice to yourself. This is good mental therapy. Only say nice things to yourself while on my stream. Yeah. I imagine people, particularly older people, but people in general, don't think positively about themselves enough. Like, whenever I'm doing a project, or back when I was doing programming projects, like, getting a program to run was one of the most wonderful feelings ever, and I always felt really, really awesome doing that. And if I had just been like, okay, I did what was expected, I would have certainly not enjoyed programming as much as I did. I kind of have a weird relationship, certainly, with my YouTube channel, but I am happy and proud when I do finish recording a series. It's just, I feel like I should do more. And of course, if I was just trying to get more people to chat, encouraging discourse would certainly be one way to do it. But I don't want that. I don't want my chat to devolve into arguments just so it gets more people to watch my videos, just so that then more people get into into more arguments.
Side effects? No.
Like,
trust me.
I don't want to do all of society a harm just to benefit myself. That's not ethical at all. But certainly plenty of other people will.
Nice to meet you.
James Anderson, so you're always archiving to do better than before. I'm always attempting to do better than before. Yes, I'm trying to improve. I think if you went back and listened to like some of my first videos of Binding of Isaac or FTL, you can see that I have a very different style. It's more silly. It's less energetic. The audio sounds a lot worse because I didn't have a I had a much worse microphone. I didn't understand how OBS worked. I understand it a lot more now. There's still probably a lot to learn. Simple things like having 2 monitors to be able to see the screen while you're playing and talk to the chat on improvements. Tweaks certainly have happened a lot that I'm not sure they succeeded or failed, but I've gone sometimes from very long streams of hours, 2 hours per episode, to some games where I'm now trying to make everything closer to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's hard to do. Some of my earlier things I rambled a lot at the beginning. I still ramble a lot on the first episode of any series, and don't get on with it. And I know everybody, including myself, hates that. But yeah. Let's see. Red Phoenix, the easiest way to get into an argument is say I like Trump. There's many different ways you can like people. Like if the little argument is that everybody must passionately hate the human being known as Trump, whether you mean Donald Trump or Trump the Hearthstone player, that's not people I want to be in company with. Like, people should disagree with maybe what they say, what they do, but as a human being, you should like everybody, I would say. Everybody should like everybody. Or at the very least, value their lives as a human being. As a being of life at all. As something of value.
Job's done.
Judge Master says it doesn't matter to me. And that now everybody's talking politics.
I wonder.
Everybody's talking politics now. A lot of stuff that's on the news too is just, whether intentionally or not, it's just a distraction from the real world and things you can actually affect. Like, what's the point of being upset about something you never had any chance of controlling anyways? When you look at like Hurricane Harvey and Irma, those are things that great opportunities where you can either donate or in some way, other way, help people and actually do something productive. When you look at who got elected as presidents, all you can do is cast your vote and then forget about it. Like, there's nothing else you can do. You can call your local congressman and senator on and tell them your opinions and express your opinions, and that's kind of it. Marching in the streets, probably not going to accomplish too much. Being upset about it is probably not going to accomplish too much. Let's see. And just more and more talk of politics here. Okay, so now we need to play some overload cards, so we will just toss out Custom Age 2, make a Shaman deck because that's all that matters, and convert to Wild. Not that it really matters on this account. Overload. And how many overload cards do I have? I have a paltry 25 dust, and that's it. So 6 overload cards on this account, which means then the next thing I have to do is draw cards. Things that cause you to draw a card. Draw a card, 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 draw a card. This account is a joke, being just a couple months over old. And after this is taunt, I guess, if so we can stay alive long enough. That's Red Phoenix says, I have an idea. Let's stop about talking about politics and agree we love the country we live in. I don't know if it's particularly even a requirement to love the country you're in. There's plenty of reasons why people in many different countries might not love it. Like, I would say love the things you love about yourself and work to change the things that you don't love about yourself, or love and learn to love the things you can control and work to change and the things you don't love that you can control, and don't worry about the things you can't control, because worry is a very good way to distract yourself or to be unproductive. It is a great way that the mind subconsciously makes you less productive, is by making you afraid, making you worrying, making you risk averse. James Anderson, help me level up my mage. Well, are you on the European account?
Why do you call?
Tragic Master is still talking about central banks and all of that. It's like, okay.
You shall not pass.
Yeah, worry and obsession, great ways to not accomplish anything in your life.
Drag no stupid.
It's like the whole Equifax thing. It's like half of the people's data has been lost because their Equifax is grossly incompetent. But what can you really do is just wait until something happens and then deal with it. Alright, well, when I'm done with this game, I will send me a friend request, a friendly challenge, and then we can help you level up your mage, and I can play these overload cards, which is going to take a while. I have so few. too tempting to eat these fries. These French fries sitting next to me. Yeah, there's an overload. Here's an overload too, so I'll do this, this.
Time for killing. Elements guide me.
Job done.
Do you need a blessing?
With the whole Equifax thing, I would hope what this is gonna do is make it most banks way more cautious and look at transactions and catch more fraud. But who knows? James Anderson's, dude, eat them. I don't like soggy fries. They're already soggy, so it's too late for that. Like, but yeah, if the chat's just gonna devolve into if it's running out of steam, then I think we could probably wrap up too. So let me put a call here at 11 o'clock. We'll wrap up. So if anybody wants to ask things more video game related, put that in. And otherwise, I think that'll just be the end of the stream, and the rest of the daily quests I'll just do with nobody watching. Of course, if you're a friend of me, you can always spectate if you want, but doing the post-game show doesn't seem to really have any value. Nobody is, so we're not doing that anymore.
Yes.
Red Phoenix says no. No, the what? I imagine I'm eventually going to get to the point where I get daily quests in general, just even on the Americas account. I'm just going to get them done if I'm playing. At 11 Central Time in about 30 minutes. That's what I'm thinking. Is what I'm going to end.
Job's done.
Want more stream here. Says Red Phoenix. Yeah, I'm thinking that there are definitely times when I'm not recording, and it's usually like I just woke up, so my voice needs to warm up, or my eyes need to adjust, or I'm just watching something on YouTube at the time, so obviously I can't have that background audio happening. And I'm thinking near those times I might just start to get more of the daily quest pre-done, try to speed up the process, because at least from my perspective, you hit this wall of 3 daily quests on the Americas account, then you hit another wall of 3 more daily quests on the European account, then you hit another wall of 3 daily quests on the Asia account. And in this example here, I need to play a lot of overload cards, and I don't even have them. And overload cards are basic, but this account is so new There's nothing to it. I did get the light and dark card backs for Choose Your Champion on each of the accounts, so that's kind of nice. Red Phoenix says midnight or riot night.
Why do you call?
Battle cry. Just keep drawing cards. Nope. That didn't work. What is the value really on going to a specific time? It's just like I'm trying to do a juggling act here of good content versus lengthy content. I could easily just mute my microphone and leave the stream going forever and not even be playing, and that would be awful content. Obviously nobody would want to watch that. Or I could have a highly regulated hour or two of content, and that would be a little short for people. But I'm trying to find the right middle ground. Alright, send me the friend request. Alright, is it this guy? Let's see. This player has no wild cards. Let's see. And I think custom shaman 2 here. Let's hope. Well, let's just play shaman in general. What about 11:30? What do you want? The question is, what do you want me to do in the next hour to 11:30? It's just going to be me playing with less and less commentary, because I've hit that wall where I have nothing to say, and unless people are going to interact with me, and I don't think people are by that much, unless new conversation comes up. That's the thing, is in a conversation, if it's an interesting conversation, it'll go on for hours and hours. But right now we're having that awkward break of just nobody saying anything. We're starting to fill that, and either I just awkwardly sit here in silence or mute myself and eat these soggy french fries. And Red Phoenix says, actually, never mind, I have to work tomorrow, so 11 is probably good. Yeah. Well, there really should be no connection between when I stop streaming and when you go to sleep. If you need to go to sleep right now, go to sleep. Come back and watch the stream later. Eventually, I will figure out how to fix my insomnia and get back to streaming closer to 2 in the afternoon. I'm probably just going to have to drink a 5-hour energy drink extra strength and stay awake for a very long time to reset my internal cycle. I don't like doing that because it's a lot of caffeine and it makes me feel sick, but it's the only thing that seems to work. James Anderson asks, do you think Blizz made this game to make it play to win? Honestly, I do, because 2.5 years into it on my main account, I still don't have some cards, and I'm still very, very low in ranked play. So it's either I blame myself and say I'm very, very bad at this game, which may be true, or I say other people who have maybe even only bought like 50 packs have just gotten that one extra legendary, 2 or 3 extra epics that put them ahead of the curve and have more of an advantage than me. When I look at the top meta deck, there's at least 3 or 4 epics that people are using that I don't have, and I don't have the dust to have them, so at that point the only way I could get them is to pay for them. The other thing to realize is I am trading out all the daily quests and playing games and getting as much gold as possible. And I've been doing that pretty consistently, at least for 2 years. And I don't have really any extra gold. So the only thing you can do to get more gold would be to play arena and win at least 7 victories, which I can't do, or to win 3 victories and get 10 gold, which is an incredibly long process for no real reason to do it. Red Phoenix says caffeine does nothing for me. I tried a 5-hour energy drink and 0 effect. I find that it is very much a personal reaction. That some people, caffeine does nothing to them. Some people it does a lot. Some people need it just to survive because they become addicted to it. But yeah, I've tried them all. I've tried like no dose, 5-hour energy drink, Red Bull. Some people, Red Bull works really well for them. For me, it didn't really do anything. So, yep, it's just 5-hour energy extra strength works for me, sort of. But nothing inherently fixes the issue of having poor quality sleep and a lack of sleep, which is the real and only solution to insomnia. I need to find ways to sleep and have better quality of sleep and get 8 hours of it per day. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna eat this burger, so I'm gonna mute myself for a temporary time. I'll come back in a minute or two, but I'm gonna continue playing.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Handle it! Balance in all things. Taste my steel! Hitting very hard.
Job's done.
You know, take candle.
Get behind me. Get behind me.
Okay, I'm back. So, Red Phoenix says, can I be mean to my internet? Okay, I'll make a special exemption for you being mean to your internet, since it's an inanimate object. James Anderson asked, did he say he was eating a burger? Yes, I was eating a hamburger. Dude should show craft overload card. I haven't seen one. I don't think you can craft any overload cards. McDonald's for the win. I don't think I can craft any overload cards. I think I just need to level up the shaman and unlock them. Or maybe they are cards that... Yeah, there may not even be any overload cards in this deck. I was thinking maybe I needed to play spells, so at the very least I'm making some progress here on playing spells. But in all honesty, I don't think I'm making too much progress on anything. And you wanted to level up your mage, so you should be doing more damage to minions, and then you should win to help you with that. Well, even if I could craft overload cards, this new account that's only a couple of months old has no dust. So it gets right back to the pay to win issue, is I can't craft things when I don't have dust. That was the wrong way to play that. Should have chosen mage if I have a spell quest. Well, I was hoping to do a little bit of both. Play some overload things. Red Phoenix, I couldn't send a message because it was too short, question mark. That might just be YouTube being weird. It's like, you should be able just to say even one character. Like, I can send one character. Can nobody else? I guess that would be a helpful thing though to stop people from, say, spamming in
Time runs out on me.
the stream like that. That would be annoying if people were doing that, I guess. But there's already protection against that kind of activity because you're only allowed a certain amount of posts per minute anyways. Let's see, Red Phoenix, you just put in the letter T. T-E.
Are you ready for this?
Est. T, sorry. So, it's probably just YouTube being weird. YouTube chat's certainly not the greatest thing in the world. Nothing in YouTube is done quite perfectly.
A dingo! Yes! Handle it!
Somebody came on the chat and immediately got banned. And reported. I'd like to get some feedback from YouTube when I report people. I would just like to hear once in a while, this person you reported has been banned from YouTube. We've kicked them out. They're gone forever. I'd like to know that they actually do something. I never get why people do that. Well, they're probably immature. I won't say young, but just immature, and they're pushing boundaries. Is how I generally would assume that's the case. Yeah, I don't even really attribute it to an actual racism. It's not like it's a person that has a deeply held belief of the superiority of one race. It is literally just people trying to be edgy and trying to get a reaction. Like, if you really if you were really racist, you would try to make an actual argument to that fact. 200 years ago, when slavery was a thing in the United States, they would do fake scientific reports and actual news stories and actual things in the newspaper trying to prove why Africans were genetically inferior to people of European descent, or white people. That's really where it gets nefarious, is because they're trying to say it's just a fact of the matter. Or often it wasn't science that they would use, it was religion that they would use, and they'd say that God specifically wanted these people to be slaves, and that is inherent in the Judeo-Christian religion even way before then. Like, early parts of the Old Testament talk about how it's okay to have slaves. And that's what they did back in that time. At least that's what the Bible says they did. James Anderson says, did you know that heaven, every race is equal, so they invented racism for ignorant comedy? And Red Phoenix says it's ironic because a prism splits light into all colors. Well, maybe he chose that name because he's pro-segregation and separating light. A prism also merges all colors into white light, or clear light to be more accurate, invisible spectrum, full spectrum light. Depending on which way you go. I never understood why they always change the race of Jesus in Christianity. It's like, to most people, Jesus is this European person of European descent, and then to some people, they have African American Jesuses out there, and nobody seems to depict him in the way he should look. You've just made the last 8 minutes of the stream way better, says. Why? Because I'm talking or because I was eating a hamburger?
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, when people in chat, when there's actual interaction, even when it's a bad interaction, it's something to talk about at least. But there have been times where I've gone an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours live streaming and nobody's said anything. I think says no, James did. Oh, so James made it better. Okay, well, thanks to James then, I guess. There's an overload card. It certainly is a lot better for me if I'm playing people and they're actually helpful on quests and we can kind of work together. It's a much better experience than it is just trying to play ranked play or random casual play. Or do the tavern brawls, which I don't know if I did the tavern brawl here. That's what I'm on a timer for. I know we're going to end in 5 minutes, but I've got to go get the timer brawl done for both of the tavern brawl done for both the European and Asian accounts, so I can get at least that one card pack.
Time runs out on me. I wonder.
And the other other people can click the little 3 dots and report comments, right? In the chat. That's not just something the moderators can do. So maybe as the chat gets bigger and bigger, I might have to rely on fans reporting other fans when they're inappropriate, just because the stream will just fly by and I won't even see it. Red Phoenix says you have 201 subs. It's not a good number. Someone unsubscribe. Just kidding. Please don't unsubscribe. I don't even know if that unsubscribe button ever got fixed. So if somebody unsubscribes, I might lose more than one subscriber. Because that was a bug that YouTube kept denying was happening and everybody else swore was actually working. Dude, I'm getting DCED. I have no idea what that means. Is that supposed to be diced?
Dingo! Yes.
Or you hold on the username on mobile to report. Interesting. I guess that works too. I guess the question would be, if you just report the person without also reporting their comment, does that make it more difficult for YouTube to see the comment they made? But whatever. As long as you can, other people can report them. That's what's helpful. James Anderson, disconnected. Dude, I'm getting disconnected. Well, that's a shame. I guess I'll just take the victory. Then.
What to do? What to do?
Another good stream. I think there was a little bit more interaction last stream, but this is really my fault. This is actually an incredibly good stream considering I started so late. So I'm very happy with this. I have like nothing on the field, but that's alright. I'll play this and transform them all into something. I've got to really get better about breaking up episodes though, because I know I'm way ahead on Hearthstone, but if I only record one episode, pre-record one episode per live stream every 3 days, eventually I'll fall behind. But maybe I'll eventually just stop pre-recording the Hearthstone videos too. That would kind of suck because I'm up to like 700 and I'd like to see that number just go higher and higher as just a useless metric to point out how much work I've done. But to continue to release and edit the live streams does take some extra work. I don't know what Kahoot is. Red Phoenix says when you're bigger you should do Kahoot on random stuff. I don't even know what Kahoot is, so I don't know how to respond to that. I was playing one night in Karazhan and it summoned a Mind Breaker and the Mind Breaker didn't work. Just because this card didn't exist back then when Karazhan was made. I think in November I am gonna try something different. I'm gonna try to cover all the games I got for free in November for like Thanksgiving and just kind of play them to the point to see if I want to continue playing them or to just give up on them and say, well, I got this game for free, so it's no big loss for me to stop and just do like a 20 minutes to an hour on it. And hopefully that would be helpful. Look up Kahoot in my free time. Kahoot is a free game-based learning platform that to learn any subject in any language on any device for all ages. So it's like, if it's the Kahoot I saw, you learn things on that. Okay. Looks slightly interesting. I do like to learn things. No one tell him the time. Shh. I can see the time. It's time to wrap up. I see the time, by the way, next to every comment, too. So whenever you chat, it tells me when somebody last chatted.
What to do? What to do?
Are you ready for this?
My totems! My pretty totems! My pretty!
Elements.
Job's done.
Yeah. Inherently, though, investing extra time to learn things would be right in, it would be right in conflict with all the other things I'm doing, too. So, like, I don't think me trying to learn more things is going to work without me not doing some of the other learning I'm already doing. Like, on YouTube, I've been watching a lot of woodworking things, even though I know I'd never personally be capable of doing woodworking. And I've been watching a lot about stepper motors and electronics and the RetroPie setup stuff. I'm watching a lot on that too. So there's a considerable amount of things. Kahoot is a quiz creator. Oh, well, that's not how it explained it on the website. It said it was more of... I thought it was more along the lines of a game designed around, like, Khan Academy. It's usually for classrooms. Well, I guess I'm... They weren't used when I was in school. Or not in any of the classes I took, or heck, you know, they probably could have been used and I just wasn't paying attention. I was pretty notorious for not paying attention in class. Quiz-based learning is probably not something I would enjoy too much of anyways, to be honest. I would much prefer there to be more hands-on, more interactive learning. Just memorizing facts and spitting them back out is not very interesting to me. I much more enjoy watching tutorials on YouTube, even though a lot of the YouTube videos, particularly if they're educational, are incredibly boring and boring people. At the very least, the visual part of it works better for me, I think.
You wish to live forever.
And most of the things on Khan Academy is too many, too low level for me, honestly. I do have a lack of knowledge in geometry. I probably should take like some college level classes online or something like that for geometry, because I've forgotten a lot of that. Red Phoenix says 5 people watching, you can't end. Of course I can. I can do anything I want. It's my channel. I could have hit him with that spell and done 1 damage. But I didn't, because I wasn't thinking. I really am not the type of person who's going to be let the crowd tell me what to do. 5 people, 500, 5 million. if I let people change who I am and what I'm doing, then I'm just not me, and that's not something I would ever allow. And I think we've got that victory. Well, he actually should take the victory. So, go ahead and take it, will you?
See now the power of the Dark Fallen.
While I do need to level up too, I'd much prefer to let my fans level up. Particularly if this is his main account, he's going to need the help. So are you going to attack or not?
The shadows beckon.
Elements of baby.
Time runs out on me.
Is anyone else getting massive lag? Yeah, I'm seeing that too. I wonder what what's causing that. I don't know. But yeah, my internet is not working. Which means this is a good time to wrap up. So, did we get the Tavern Brawl done? Yes, we did. So we don't have to worry about that on the... But I do need 5 victories with the Druid and Hunter. I'll have to get that off screen. 10 more Overload cards. 8 more spell cards. And that's not even touching the Asian account, which we haven't even begun to do things. We have to get the Tavern Brawl on the Asian account. We have to get all of the other things on the Asian account.
Come tell us a story or two.
And I'll have to do all of that off screen too. But let's see, what do we have to do? 3 games Paladin, 3 games Priest, 3 games Druid. Trade the cheapest one for 30 Battlecry cards. Alright. So, 3 quests there and a Tavern Brawl. The timer is the worst on the Tavern Brawl. So I've got a lot of work to do, but it's been a good stream. We had a nice conversation, barring a couple of problematic things. That's it for the stream, and we're losing the internet as I speak. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.